And now we're here, Dave. Sunday, it's our last weekend of 4-day racing here post-Thanksgiving, of course, but wonderful stakes action that happened yesterday.
Yeah, big stakes yesterday. Post-time Howell, King Kumbale hitting the winner's circle. Thrilling races there, but post-time getting up in the final jump. Howell hanging the win to by a length. I think people expected her maybe to win by daylight. But,
Yes.
And then King Kumbale with a big performance and a really jumble at the top of the stretch where some horses in trouble, including King Kumbale, overcame that trouble to win. Kali, post time gets 85 in the City of Laurel Stakes. That's pretty much kind of standard, not best number for post time.
Correct.
But definite thriller there. Hillwood Stable. Howell, I have a theory on this.
Okay.
I'm going to throw this out to you.
Okay.
Right? Young horse, Howell, never been to Laurel, turns in on a bright sunshiny day, sees that sunshine setting in the west and goes, wait a second here,
Yeah.
what's this? And she had to work for it a little bit in the very end. I think a lot of people expect her to come up with a lengthy score, but she ran at 80, regressed a little bit off that big maiden score. King Kumbale, older horse, 94 buyer.
Yeah, that was impressive. I really loved the trip and the overall just performance that he gave us there for the Dickey Small Stakes.
Yeah, so 3 big stakes there.
Yep.
More stakes action to come in the month of December and other promotions. Go to laurelpark.com. It's a toy drive day coming up on December 2nd. Lots of holiday things to do here at Laurel Park. Bring the family if they're coming into town.
Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got going on today here for kind of a post-Thanksgiving weekend hangover kind of racing day here, Dave. But the track is fast today. Things look pretty good out there.
Yeah, mostly cloudy right now. Temperature in the mid-40s. A little chilly in the mornings, but warming up nicely in the afternoons here at Laurel Park Fast Track. There's a chance of some showers, I think, in the next hour or 2 or 3, but really nothing to affect the condition of the main track.
Absolutely not. As we kick things off in this early pick 5, in a claiming 40,000, which have never won 2 for the 3-year-olds and up, going a 1-turn mile on the dirt. Dave, you have the number 4 on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at Midnight Renegade's first win back at Pimlico in late May.
Yeah, we're throwing this back to his debut at Pimlico, 6 furlong sprinting there. A roughed at the start, kind of a tough trip leaving the gate, as you see. In the circle there, Midnight Renegade, and was shuffled back to the back of the pack, second last position, but got into gear and poured it on top of the stretch to the finish to win by a length and a half. Was third at the 8th pole there and closing in. So Midnight Renegade, big performance, first out, rested up till Colonial Downs, ran a good third of the comeback as a beaten favorite, only a half length, then ran into Brother Conway, oh my, in a race that's produced a couple of winners, and last out in a very big field, ran 8th behind Foal's Notion, was a big long shot winner that day over a disputed claim. Again, a little trouble in that race, but going the 1-turn mile, he's got a lot of time to settle out of the gate, a little shorter field today, and I think he'll run a big one. I think kind of a class drop, so to speak, for him, given the company that he's faced.
Kind of getting a little help in that way, in that notion there, Dave. As you go with the number 4 on top, you go with the number 3, Martini Martin, underneath with Carlos Mencia and Angel Cruz.
Here's our stat of the day, trainer Carlos Mencia. This is second off a 45 to 180-day layoff. If you have daily racing forms, a glaring number there last couple of years, so I extended it out a bit. 11% small win percentage, but ROI at $3.87. How about factor it in at 32 to 1, Marvelous 26 to 1, Nostalgic Run at 22 to 1, Sevens 11 at 16 to 1, even had a 60 to 1 in there to spice it up, and a 17 to 1. So this colt might be a little bit of a price today. This is a kind of a good move angle for Carlos Mencia, Martini Martin, second after that layoff of 45 to 180 days away.
4-3-7-8 is how Dave goes in race number 1, starting off that early pick 4. Now, Dave, in absence of Keith Fusel, you have an early pick 4 ticket for us. Let's take a look how you play it.
A little more than I wanted to spend. Remember, usually I usually try to keep it $20 or so around there, but I think there's some potential here of some prices, Collie, in a couple of the legs. So second race, I went 2, 5, and 9. Gwynedd, Donna's Courage is a big price on the line, and Candy Arcade. I think we both like that horse. And third race, going to spread a little bit in here. There are several horses coming out of a common race we'll show you at Delaware Park in a few minutes, and some changes in the race as well as Bold Talk and Ruffner Racing with blinkers on. I'm using Bold Talk in there too, and a big price. And number 1 and 4, I think, in the fourth race, and a bit shorter field. I think one of those two are going to win. And then in the fifth race, going 3 deep, got to use He Hate Me, Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez, but I think he had kind of a trip of trips with a good number, so I think there's a chance here that we can beat him with Musical Heart and also the Old Timer Assembly. Pointer likes this track.
And a $36 ticket, Dave, for your early pick 4. Of course, as you mentioned, claiming $10,000 in that first leg for the girls 3 and up, which have never won, 2 going 7 furlongs. So we go from the 1-turn mile to the 7 furlongs, shorten it up a bit for these girls here in the start of the early pick 4. Scratching the 8 Harper Dew. You and I both have Candy Arcade on the outside on top. Blinkers off today for Justin Nixon and Xavier Perez.
Yeah, it's been kind of an experiment. Blinkers on the last 2 times on the turf, but back to the dirt, taking the blinkers off. Last 4 races have been in the Justin Nixon barn. 2 races on the dirt, not bad though out of town. The horse that beat her by a nose back in April has won 2 races since then, barring up with 70 and 65 numbers. It's Hot Fudge Warrior. So I think she fits in this spot. Don't know if she's going to be reliable though as a single. So went a little deeper here too. Sure. Gwynedd also with a chance in this spot here for Ben Perkins Jr. Comes out of a triple key race won by Ginger Girl, and then was third behind Lunita and Bodacious, bringing double key race there. A horse with some useful speed, Lunita. So maybe at this 7 furlong distance, I think maybe just hit her just right this afternoon. Her numbers fit. The 5 Donna's Courage, an interesting horse out of another key race. Again, that Ginger Girl race has been very hot. Then come morning, came back to win with a 62 buyer and a non-winner of 2 lifetime. It's second after a little break. Was very wide, always wide that day. And then today gets Martina Rojas, apprentice aboard for Hugh McMahon, eligible for an upset. And then Flitter, I don't know, I didn't think she beat much last time out in Pumpkin and Visual Illusion, but she was kind of cut out to be an okay horse. I remember, kind of having her on my watch list early, but she just hasn't panned out that to be as fast maybe as they thought she was.
9256 for Dave Rodman there in race number 2. Race number 3 starts the Rainbow Pick 6, and again, try and give you a little bit of a skeletal structure. I always try and keep it around 20, but alas, I also had one that was a bit towards the $30 as well. So race number 3 and race number 8, I kind of bookend it, going double there. I kick off with Super Bourbon and Full Irish in this maiden claiming 45 effort. Race number 4, I go 3 deep with the 1, 4, and 6. You and I both land on Chief Ron. Dave will get to that in a bit. Race number 5, I do go 5 wide in this race, and this claiming 8,007 furlong on the dirt affair. There's a lot of arguments that can be made for my top 4 selections, so I just go ahead and kind of click in on 4 of those. Race number 6 in our Jackpot Super High 5. That's a maiden 20, but I go ahead and take a single. This is your top selection as well, in Vixen's Celtic Banshee for Mike Trombetta. Race number 7, I go 3 deep with the 6, 9, and 10. We have a video on Kingdom Queen coming up. You go with the 10 in there, Dave. I go with the number 9. And as I mentioned, a double down on race number 8 in the 1 and the 8, making it a nice $28.80 ticket. Starting here in race number 3, this is a maiden claiming 45, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Dave, you go with the number 3 on top, and this is Bold Talk in the barn of Diane Marisi. J. Ron Barbosa takes the call.
Don't laugh at me yet.
No.
We're actually going to see this horse in the video. Maybe you'll see. He's way back. He got beat by the horses that we were going to see in the video here at Delaware Park there, September 9th, as Neuschwanstein was second and Legendaire was third. Neuschwanstein there in the blue cap kind of goes to the left lead. Late Legendaire will close in to finish third. But earlier on, the horse just went out of your picture back there. That's Bold Talk, who actually was racing nicely with Neuschwanstein. All of a sudden just kind of took himself out of it. Today, he's first time gelding, and today gets blinkers on for Diane Marisi. So she's pulled this off before. A second out blinkers on horse with the same kind of form scored at Delaware Park recently at 9-1. They come out of the same race, so hopefully it's one of these three, 3, 8, 10, and 5. And Collie, I really was tempted to pick Super Bourbon in here because he was kind of on my stable mail after that troubled trip.
What I like with Bold Talk too is that Diane took this horse in the gates and probably did a work with the blinkers on out of the gates on November 18th. That's after the movie, the video that we saw in that first time start. So I kind of take a nod to that as well. But let's touch on, of course, we touched on Neuschwanstein and Legendary in that race. Super Bourbon, Brittany Russell, Angel Cruz. Again, you couldn't deny this horse a little bit. It's a Brittany Russell second time starter.
Well, he was there in contention down the backstretch, had to steady a little bit at the half-mile pole, loomed up like a winner, appeared to have some run inside, then was gradually eased out in the final furlong, had every chance to quicken up, but just kind of flattened out and idled just a little bit. And the race came up a little slow in my book, but then again, the pace maybe had something to do with that. He can improve second time out. He was a beaten favorite in there. I don't know. I'm afraid of this horse. And your top pick there, Super Bourbon.
As Dave Rodman goes 3, 8, 10, 5, giving you a little bit of a value there in race number 3, kicking off the Rainbow pick 6. And now we go to race number 4, kicking off the late pick 5 in the starter optional 30,000, going 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the 5, Got Thunder. You and I both go, as I mentioned, with Chief Ron on top for Pedro Nazario and Jamie Rodriguez.
Now, I know he switches barns today, but he's just kept such good company, including Lightning Larry. Al loves Josie 3-back, who came back out of that race at Laurel on August the 5th to win a solid allowance race, and then was second in the Chaladon in a follow-up. And so if he can hold his form in this spot off the claim, and I think he can, going to a barn that doesn't claim a whole lot, I think he'll be tough in the spot. Number 1 in here, A Foolish Ghost. There are only 2 I'm really using in that pick 4 sequence. A second start for trainer Jose Corrales goes to Raul Mena this afternoon out of the very fast Bob Marco race, a race running above par time. And Corrales going to be tough. I like a horse a little later in the day. We'll get to in a minute. I think the next race is coming up. Yep. Mm-hmm. So he's been hot lately, the Corrales barn, the last 5-6 weeks here. The horses have been firing on all cylinders. 4-1 and 6 scratch the 5. Got Thunder. Indian Lake, well, old class horse, right?
Yes.
He can wake up. 8 wins, 12 seconds, 6/3. He comes out of the Bob Marco race too, but he was beaten by Foolish Ghost last.
And as we go on to race at number 5, we will have a nice little break for you, and we will be right back after that.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
As we start the late pick 4 here in this claiming 8,000, going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the number 5 Gallant Gold. You have the number 9 Musical Heart on top. This is in the barn of Jose Corrales. Dennis Araujo gets the call. Let's take a look back at that Saratoga effort at the claiming $10,000 level.
Yeah, this is out of the chute there at Saratoga, and there he is, 2B in the circle, red cap. Boom, boom, boom. A shuffle back there early in the race, yet winds up in a battle down the stretch. We'll see in a moment, and he battled hard every step of the way. Actually, he was on the lead at the 8th pole, had rivals inside and outside of him, couldn't quite finish off the job. Was it the trouble that did that? I don't know. But anyway, that's that kind of like one-turn mile, but it's not a flat mile like we ever hear at Laurel Park. Like it's like 1.5 at Saratoga. Mm-hmm. So coming back here to Laurel, first time Corrales, Araujo. We know that combo's hot. I think last time I was on the show, we scored with our best play of the day with that combination. His first time in the Corrales barn. And in the Wayback Machine, I know maybe it's kind of a reach. Looking back on this horse's past performances, back when Rob Outras had him, this horse was third 2 times to Mr. Buff in the winter of 2021. I know I'm going way back, but Mr. Buff, a winner, a $1.4 million, 17 wins. So does he have some class? Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely. You also go with the number 6 underneath, and He Hate Me for Jamie Ness at Jamie Rodriguez. You had to include this one on your ticket.
Yeah, he's always there, right? I mean, 10 and 41, 2 wins here at Laurel Park, way off the pace and a hot pace ahead of him at Parks and kind of a trip of trips there. Can he repeat that number? Can things go exactly that way again today? I don't know. I think he's just very consistent. You got to love the Rodriguez-Ness combo on a horse that just is still doing the job here in 2023 at the age of 8 with 3 wins to his credit and 3 last year as well. Likes the track. I hate to get beat by He Hate Me. Shoot the Messenger using it here as kind of a long shot play underneath in the triples as well.
And then you also go 9, 6, 1, 11 in race number 5 for Dave Rodman. As we go on to our jackpot super high 5 race, of course, as always in race number 6, this is a maiden claiming 20,000, going 5.5 on the dirt for the girls. 3, 4, and 5. Scratch the 1, scratch the 6. Dave, you and I both land on Vixen's Celtic Banshee for Mike Trombetta Angel. Cruz just missed out last time, gets the blinkers on this time.
Now, I wonder who said it. Put blinkers on this horse. Was it Angel or was it Mike Trombetta watching the race? Maybe both said it at the same time, right? So
right.
This horse definitely was a bit awkward last time out. I mean, you think she needs blinkers? Is that the reason you picked her? That's the reason I picked her.
Here's the thing. Watching that race, she actually wasn't. She was erratic because Cruz went to the inside stick, and she just had a reaction from it. So while yes, I think the blinkers on was a big help for me. While Trombetta as a barn trend is only 8% with that as of lately, 4 for 53. This filly's coming off third after the layoff. That's a high Trombetta stat that we have there at 24% as a barn trend. But ultimately, the erraticness was just her just being a little green and responsive to something that was, happening to her. So just kind of gives her a little bit more focus, not necessarily a super crazy erratic down the stretch.
Well, I don't know. She broke sharp last time out. I mean, actually right on top, like she was going to try to go to wire. So maybe just, I don't know, for some reason, just really not focused. So the blinker's going on. We both like her in here. She's your single on your pick 6. Looking around a little bit. Titian Tyrant, how about that? Let's take a look back in February at Laurel. I noticed going back, and she does come off a layoff, and this was a mile, the 16th. But was second in this race and made a nice move around the far turn. Then we had the far turn, Titian Tyrant from Men's Grill Racing, a familiar black cap there, rolling up on the outside 4 wide, and like a winner, right? Right here, looks like she's going to carry on with it. But had to battle down the stretch and was beaten by Voodoo Mama Juju, who's looming there in the 5th spot in the gold cap. But she's still kind of like ridden with a bit of confidence at the top of the stretch. So she's shortening up today to 5.5. Is she that fast to get up going 5.5? I don't know. But she did work October 25th here at Laurel Park in 1:01, breezing from the gate. And that was a full 2 seconds faster than other works going 5/8 that morning. So she's had time away. Maybe she'll come back with a little more speed. I don't know.
And she'll have to, listen, it's something that she'll have to do. And I think being able to do, the 5.5 may actually help her a little bit as long as she's able to, as long as Xavier can just get this filly out the door. That it doesn't concern me too much, especially her having a gate. She's coming back off of this long layoff. The gate works fine. They could also be using this just kind of coming back into things, kind of just putting a race into her, so to seem. So you could take it either way with that.
Yeah, the filly, the beater, Voodoo Mama Juju, is kind of a 50s buyer dirt horse, and you look at the buyers of any of the other fillies in this field and say, well, I think she fits here. So Titian Tyrant. Number 5 is a first-time starter. Paul Marie. Uncle Lino, 17% with first-time starters. Out of a dam, was 3 for 18 in the career. However, was a first-out winner. And this horse looked like she was ready to go back early in 2023. She had a good series of works from January to May, then maybe a little bit of a setback, and then she's come back to work. So she's in for the 16 with a hot sire first-time starter and a damned at one first-time out, and Phil Capuano placing him in the right spot here and maybe assessing the talent of this filly. So she's an interesting horse. Palmery. Don't know what price she'll be really at. Maybe she'll get a ton of early money.
I'm going to be surprised and curious to see what kind of money she brings here for this type of group, as Dave Rodman goes 3-7-5-9 in race number 6. Race number 7 is a starter optional 30,000, going 5.5 here on the dirt for the girls 3 and up, scratching the 1, scratching the 8. I keep doing it. Dave, you go with the number 10 and Kingdom Queen, and we have a look-see at that last race out at Penn National.
All right. I know it's Penn National, but
that's fine.
There's going to be plenty of speed ahead of her in this spot. I'm a little concerned, even though she's number 10, but 2 scratches in this race, pushing her into number 8, which is still a tough post position here at Laurel Park to win from. But I think she's going to get, now with Organized Chaos and Brazina staying in the race, if they both run their usual speed lick up front, she just kind of does it with her own little style here, right?
Yeah.
I think she fits. Her numbers fit in this spot. Then second off the claim for trainer Elliot Sullivan. Taken the show on the road in the past 6 months. He's got wins at Delaware, Penn National, Mountaineer. So doesn't matter, right? He ships,
correct.
he wins. That's all you need to know. So I think for the price, I'm going to use Kingdom Queen as a little bit of a price.
You also use another price on the new rail horse and Royal Whisper for David Howard, Javian Toledo at 15-1.
Yeah, Mile was a little bit, well, I think a lot too far for her last time out. She's had some issues, hesitated at the break, steadied at the start. She doesn't always get out of the gate in solid order. Howard's good off the claim, though. Maybe they found a little diamond in the rough. And what intrigues me is Toledo's been riding her. Toledo comes back to her today.
Yeah, that's something certainly to be said about it there. So, of course, you also, I like that little tip underneath. And then you go with my flicker, 200 days off the layoff for Lacey Gaudet. Johan Rosado gets the call today.
Yeah. This horse is just consistent, right? 7 wins, 7 seconds. Beaten favorite last time out. Maybe not. I'll tell you, if she runs her race that she did at Charlestown back in November, I mean, she's way above the field, in my opinion. But her last 2 races have been okay, but maybe not as fast. She figures in this spot. And it's going to be a game of trips here. Anonymously coming back, seems like I just called that name. That's because we did, right? Last week, right?
Yes.
The one last week comes back in a quick turnaround here for trainer Jose Corrales. One last week. Wheel it right back.
We'll see how that pans out for those connections that Dave Rodman goes 10-2-9-3 in race number 7. Race number 8 is a maiden claiming 12-5, going 5.5 on the dirt. For the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, you go with the number 3 on top. Last jump start, TJ Aguirre, blinkers on, Forest Boys team up again.
No, I actually had a note in this horse last time out. I mean, he was wide the whole trip. Then kind of finished with some interest and a decent gallop out behind Senator Kelly. Moonset and West Star beat him, but any kind of ground-saving run, he probably would have beaten those two or been right there in the photo with Senator Kelly. Blinkers go on today. He's shown steady improvement. Was third, beaten only 3 lengths back in August to North Highland, who's improved his numbers and class runs from 60 to like almost 80 buyer numbers. North Highland pulling a big upset for Ham Smith. So I don't know, the blinkers going on today. It took him a while to get it figured out. And a few races, he was just way back, just no run at all. Then showed some interest running, and so he's been a little inconsistent. Maybe the blinkers and a ground-saving trip might get him enough to get over the top here today. Counting on that blinker trick today and a little bit of company.
And you also go with Moonset underneath, as well as I do for Charlie Frock. Javian Toledo just was denied for that first win at last time out.
He's one of the 0 for maidens in here, right? West Star 0 for 15, Moonset 0 for 10. Yeah, he did beat my top pick last time out. Could do it again today. He's got some great early speed from post 10, flaunted it on the muddy going. He's going to be up close again today. Number 2, Fun Coast is an interesting horse to me. I mean, It says turf on the top and turf on the bottom. You look at the pedigree, and Linda Albert did the right thing. Starts him on the grass. He runs a big number for the maiden 20 level on the grass behind Reap What You Sow, a race a little above par. Couldn't catch the very speedy Moncrief, who went all the way 2 starts back. And then last was a bit dull. Rennie beat him that day. Surprise hello. Went all the way, finally breaking the maiden. But can he run on the dirt? I don't know. Works on the dirt. Why not try him on the dirt, especially at this price and a little bit of a drop? I see the reason they ran him on the grass. You look up his sire, you look up his dam, it's all grass.
We'll find out if he likes the dirt in race number 8. Post time for race number 8 will be 3:55 as Dave Rodman goes 3:825 for our picks here for Sunday racing. And now, Dave, let's just dive into a couple of these picks that you've had, like your value play, kicking things off in race number 3, 20-1 in Bold Trek for Diane Marisi and J-Ron Barbosa.
It's the old might be something, might be nothing trick, right? He comes out of the race with Neuschwanstein and Legendaire. They beat him solidly at Delaware Park. But Diane Marisi pulls this trick already at Delaware. Blinkers on, second out, scoring with a 9-1 shot. He's first time gelding. The horse that won the race, Childers. Next in second, a brother Conway. I tell you what, then was not on his best on Thanksgiving. I think he got a little squirrely in the gate. He ran here Thanksgiving Day and just didn't perform his best. But, you know, first time gelding and blinkers on. Broke sharp that day, was actually inside showing some speed and kind of took himself out of there. Could be a different horse today.
And you also have a best bet in race number 5, good value at 8-1 in Musical Heart with Dennis Araujo on top.
Yeah, well, Dennis Araujo and Jose Corrales treated us well with our best play last time I was on with you. Try it again today, Musical Heart. Again, we mentioned this horse on the Wayback Machine, was third a couple of times to $1.4 million winner Mr. Buff, who has 17 wins to his credit. So a little trainer switch here, kind of an open affair. I think the distance is just right for him today. First time Corrales, Musical Heart, our best play of the day, and he's going to be a price too. He won't be 4-5.
And there we have it for Dave Rodman for his best bet and his value play. Now, Dave, thank you so much for joining me here on
fun.
Sunday.
Yep.
Absolutely, and I'm going to get offset, get out of your way, so we can give us some more possible changes and scratches later on.
Change is coming up. Good luck.